Hey everyone, today I'll be rating the drivers' performances in F2 for the 2024 Monaco Grand Prix. Let me know if you agree and let me know your ratings in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you like the video, trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. Let's get started as always with the ART team. Victor Martins, this time he gets a 6. It shows how terrible of a season Martins has had, that this is probably one of his best weekends so far. He won his group in qualifying but just didn't do enough to get pole position, as for sure went faster in the other group. A first step incident in the sprint race meant that he got squeezed by 2 cars, resulting in no front wing and a retirement and no points. He then fell to 14th after a terrible getaway in the feature race, but managed to climb up to 9th for a couple of points. He obviously has pace in the car, but just needs to find some vein of luck or form and some good qualifying too, like he showed in Monaco. His teammate, Zach O'Sullivan, gets an 8. I hope Zach went to the casino after he won the feature race, as luck is definitely on his side. After initially qualifying down in 15th, despite strong pace in qualifying, he managed to work his way up to 10th in the sprint race. However, the feature race is where he came alive, as he kept his car out on track, putting in good laps until the penultimate lap, where Dirksen had a retirement, causing a virtual safety car. This is when, from the race lead from first, he pitted with enough of a gap to come out ahead of Hadjar, who was in second and supposedly the net race leader. And that meant he kept it clean, warmed up those tyres nicely, and went over the line in first. A first win for O'Sullivan, and showed great skill to manage old tyres and also those new cold tyres, trying to keep it together in front of Hadjar. Well done, O'Sullivan. Prema Racing now with Oliver Bandman, 6. He qualified down in 6th in this group, which left him down in 12th on the grid for both the feature and the sprint race. He couldn't do much in the sprint, where there was no mandatory pit stops, but in the feature race it was a different story. He made it 5 places in the first lap, and as part of the pack that pitted early, and ultimately it helped him stay out of traffic and record a great 4th place finish. He had consistently been inconsistent, but races like these show glimpses of the driver we saw last year and the driver Haas hopes are getting for 2025. His teammate though, Andrea Antonelli, he gets a 7. Another solid weekend for the Italian as he qualified 7th. He didn't make up any places in either race, but he didn't fall down the order either. He kept it together all weekend and kept pace, both with the race and also the championship leaders, as he is like a secondary pack in 4th, 5th and 6th with Bortoleto and Hauger. Now we have Rodin with Zane Maloney, the old championship leader, who's fallen down to 3rd now. He gets 5. I think this weekend might be one he might look back on with regrets. Typically, his car hasn't been the best in qualifying, but he's proven he's got pace in the races. In Monaco, race pace almost means nothing compared to qualifying pace, as qualifying is everything. It's very tricky to pass on. And it cost Zane here. He qualified down on 14th, which meant scoring points would be tricky. His sprint race was over when he bumped into the back of O'Sullivan and got hit too in the back by Miney. He made up some good places to score a point in the feature race, but he drops down to 3rd in the standings. He'll be looking to regain the championship lead soon, as the other guys, Aaron and Hadjar, are looking on red hot form, so he has to step it up once again to rejoin those two. Vittorio Mietta gets 1. Another terrible weekend for Mietta, qualifying in 21st and coming 17th and 15th in each of the races. He might need to be saved from the series and move somewhere he is more comfortable. I mean, he was great in Australia and okay in Bahrain, but apart from that, he has been way off the pace of most drivers, and way back from his teammate, which is ultimately your comparison. Other drivers have managed to come in from outside F3 and do well, so I'm unsure why Mietta has, because Antonelli's done well. I mean, to an extent, Barnard has done well, so he's running out of time in my book. And then we have Dams, starting with Jack Crawford. He gets 2. He qualified in 18th, and that was that. Got a collision in the feature, making him retire, and the sprint could not pull out any overtakes after getting to places due to other colliding. So he moved up a couple places in the sprint race, but that was it, no points. Pretty boring. Juan Manuel Correa gets a 7. After a solid point scoring weekend in Imola, he brings that form again into Monaco after a difficult qualifying, getting 13th. He had a similar sprint race to Crawford, where no overtaking was available apart from a few people crashing out and moving above them. But the feature race, oh man. He made up a couple places in the first lap, and then showed good pace, pitted in an optimal time to make his way up to a net 4th, beating those ones who were trying to undercut him, and also the ones trying to overcut him. So he moved up to 4th, and it would have been a 3rd if that O'Sullivan safety car didn't happen. So really well done. Could have been a podium, sadly, unlucky not to be, but still, very, very solid weekend and 7 points for 1. Invicta now, and Kush Miney gets 1. What has happened to Miney recently? He started so well, I looked on par with Bortoleto, his teammate, at the start of the season, and now he can't catch a whiff. He qualified low down the order due to collision in the sprint race, and then couldn't make up any other places in the feature race. He'll be upset with himself, and he hasn't performed to his kind of standard recently, so hopefully we will see his full ability again soon, like we saw last season a bit and the start of this season. Gabriel Bortoleto, 7. Good work, Bortoleto. You did what you had to do. He qualified 9th and converted that to a sprint race podium. That's expected in Monaco, but he still did it. And then he kept it clean in the feature race and got an 8th. Nothing special, but he converted what he got in qualifying. That's all you need to do in Monaco. Qualify well and convert that to points in the feature race and the sprint race. So he did that. Well done. That leaves him not in the front pack, but close enough to be a threat to Aaron Hadjar and Maloney coming the back end of the series. So an outside contender for the championship, but still a contender and not out of the points like some of these other drivers. MP Motorsport. Dennis Hauger, 7. Although he only qualified an 8th, he showed what an experienced driver should be able to do in Monaco, like Bortoleto. He kept it clean, he converted a second row sprint race start into a 3rd on the podium, then kept it clean again and went long to move his way up to 6th in the feature race. A very similar weekend to Bortoleto like I mentioned, so I rated them the same with 7. Franco Colapinto, his teammate, a 6. His teammate qualified up in 5th, which allowed him to work one position in the sprint race and get 6th in the sprint, but ultimately got undercut in the feature race and did not score a point. A solid enough performance, but he'll be disappointed by this strategy. Now we have VAR with Enzo Fittipaldi. He gets a 4. He'll be feeling very unlucky this weekend after qualifying 11th. That must be the worst feeling ever, especially at Monaco. One place higher and you're almost guaranteed a podium in the sprint race. Alas, he didn't, and he has to settle for a 9th in the sprint and a 12th in the feature. So close points in both races, but just misses out. His teammate though, Rafael Gomez, he gets a stinking 0. Bottom of the points table and bottom of the week's ratings. Qualified last, terrible sprint, then retired in the feature race. One to forget, so let's move on. And moving on to high tech with Cordial, a 1. It's not much better for Cordial, the Belgian, as he only qualifies 17th. Once again, Monaco strikes, and there's nothing he can do in the sprint race as he goes up to 14th. Then a first lap incident, meaning a pointless weekend. It wouldn't be so bad, but if you didn't start to compare him to his teammate and the other high tech with Paul Aaron, it's looking very, very bad. It's Paul Aaron's championship leader, and Monaco Deal is near the bottom. So you feel for the guy as having such a good teammate, but also do better. Paul Aaron gets a 9. Once again, an amazing weekend for Aaron. I'm running out of superlatives for the young Estonian, who's proving everyone wrong. How hasn't an F1 team picked him up so far? I mean, if I was the young driver development person, I would snatch him as soon as I could. But I'm thinking maybe he's keeping his options open and looking to win the championship, then seeing maybe who's got a seat in F1. So he's not stuck with the team too early when this kind of driver kerfuffle is still up in the air. So maybe we could see him next year if he keeps his options open and out of contract. I think we have a real fight on our hands between Aaron, Hadjar and Maloney. Aaron is consistent, but yet to win a race. Let's hope his drive to win a race doesn't come with him risking points, solid points, to kind of put a move in and win a race and end up retiring. So if I had any advice, Aaron, get points. Who needs a win where you can get podiums all day, every day? Keep it up. Campos with Isaac Hadjar and 9 points. Aaron's closest advisory closes the gap, 2 points as Maloney falls behind. Hadjar had another superb weekend with a 3rd in qualifying, translating to an 8th in the sprint and a 2nd in the feature. There should have been a 1st if it wasn't for a controversially timed VSC. Nonetheless, Hadjar should be happy that his luck seems to have turned around from the start of the season when he was getting kind of DNFs and technical issues and whatnot. So on the other side of the garage though, Pepe Marti, 2. Marti has fallen off a cliff since the first weekend, qualifying in 20th and DNFing after binning it into the wall right before the swimming pool section. A really boring, poor weekend. He looked so promising at the start of the season, but I don't know where it's gone. So hopefully we see the old Bahrain, Marty soon. Trident with Richard Verschoor, only a 5. I mean, what a qualifying session. It was ecstatic and everyone was so happy for Verschoor. It was amazing. But damn, when you lose confidence in your car in Monaco, that's your weekend over. In the sprint race, he hit the wall slightly, meaning he had to pit and lose whatever kind of chance he had at points for that race. And then he kind of took those issues and that lack of confidence into the feature race where he had some engine problems and had to retire as well. I mean, it's just, poor guy. I feel for him a lot, but that's F2 and hopefully he can keep up this kind of form, this qualifying form in the future and win some races coming up. The next up is Roman Stanek, 6 points. Qualified in 6th as well, and like mostly everyone else, converted that into a 6th place and points in the sprint. The feature race wasn't the same though, as he had a terrible pit stop, which caused him to come out last, behind everyone else, as he pitted early, and that was his race over. So, got some points in the sprint, but strategy killed him, which wasn't his fault, so not terrible, but not great either. And now, AIX Racing, with Joshua Dirksen getting 1. He qualified in 19th and finished in 18th in both races. A big fall from his feature race podium last time out. Very disappointing, but with a poor qualifying, what can you expect? Taylor Barnard though, he gets an 8, a win for the Brit, as he converts 10th in qualifying and a sprint race pole to a sprint race win. He did drop out of the points in the feature race, but a win is a win, and there's an 8 regardless of if he is still 21st in the championship. I mean, it's only 10 points, but it's a really confidence boosting 10 points, especially after that disqualification at Imola. He's finally got it. I mean, it's been a long time coming to getting points for Barnard, but he's there and it's a win. So what more can you ask for, especially at Monaco? These are my ratings. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, like I mentioned earlier. Trying to hit 1,000. Thanks for watching. Peace.